Hey everybody, this is Mr. Longo, and in this video we are going to cover the law of cosines. Now, in a previous video, you probably already watched the law of sines. Now, this is a totally different formula. It is a little bit more challenging to work with in terms of the calculator for one aspect of it, but it really is not that bad. So, very similar to the law of sines, we have big A, big B, big C, and of course sides opposite are little a, little b, and little c. So that's the exact same. Now, what's changed is when we are working with the law of cosines, we will not have a big and little letter of the same flavor. So we will not have a big A and a little a. We will not have big B, little b. We will not have big C, little c. This is simply going to tell you that we will not have an angle and the opposite side given. Because when we do, we can use the law of sines. When we don't, we use the law of cosines. So, let's just jump in and talk about how we do this. So, the first example is a side angle side problem. We are given two sides and an angle in between, so that means we can see there is no side opposite that was given. Now, when we are working with the law of cosines, what we are finding is either going to be first or last. That's how we're going to manipulate the formula. So there's only one formula, and the ABC could be M, N, and O. It's just a letter. So it's how you use it that makes the difference. So since I have angle B given, the first thing we're going to do is find B. So I just want to show you how we manipulate the formula. When we're looking for B, we just switch the A and the B. So this now becomes B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of big B. That's it. We just have to manipulate it so we have what we're looking for on the end. So now we're just going to use that formula. We know that we were given little c is 16. We know little a is 12. And we know big B is 38. So our formula is going to read B squared is equal to 12 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 12 times 16 times the cosine of big B, which is 38. This is the easy one for the calculator because, as you can see, B squared is just equal to some gigantic number. And it's whatever we get when we type that in. So, of course, make sure that your calculator is in degrees. So once we're in degrees, we're just going to type in 12 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 12 times 16 times the cosine of 38. And when we click enter, we're going to get this big crazy decimal. Now remember, that is what B squared is equal to. So that would be 97.4. And what we need to do is take the square root of it. Now, of course, there are multiple ways you can use your calculator to do this, but you can just press second square root, and you want to go to the previous answer. You don't want to just type in 97.4 for rounding purposes. So remember, if you don't have the type of calculator where you can just scroll up and touch that, you would just press second negative, and it'll tell you to take the square root of the previous answer. Click enter, and we have 9.869. Again, it all depends on what we're rounding to. I am just going to round this one to the nearest 3 decimal places today. I know in a previous video I did 1, just to show you it doesn't matter what we want to do. In terms of rounding, just pay attention. So for this video, I'll do 3. So that would be 9.869. And now we have found little b. Now we just have to go find big A or big C. So to do that, it's a little bit more complicated in terms of calculator skills. Let me show you what I mean by that. So we're going to set up big A. To find big A, it's a squared. That's this one that we were originally given. So we know that a is 12, so we're going to set this up as 12 squared is equal to, we now know that b is 9.869 squared plus c squared, which is 16 squared, minus 2 times b, which is 9.869, times c, which is 16. And then we have the cosine of, now this part is a little bit tricky because I want you to go back to Algebra 1 for just a second and think about this. If we were solving 2 plus 3 plus 3x, can we say that that's 8x? And the answer is no. We can only combine certain parts at a time. So we would be able to combine our like terms and then leave this. So that's what you need to be very careful of when it comes to this part, because if we were to look at this, these right here are just numbers. This right here is attached to the cosine of a, so that's like a number in front of a variable. So you can type this in and you would get 144 equals. You can add just these two together. So you can type 9.869 squared plus 16 squared in the calculator and get 353.397. And then you can type negative 2 times 9.869 times 16, and that would give you minus 315.808 cosine of A. Okay? Now, what are we going to do with that is what we have to talk about for the calculator. Now, we are going to need to subtract 353.38 or 0.397. So that would be 144 minus 353.397, and that's going to give us a negative 209.397. But then we have to divide both sides by negative 315.808 to get cosine of A by itself. So I'm just going to do that right now. Divided by, and then that would be negative 315.808. And when we click enter, we're going to get a crazy decimal. Now remember, that decimal, this 0.663, and it continues, is equal to the cosine of A. So when we're looking for an angle measurement, we have to remember to use inverse trig. So second cosine of the previous answer is going to give us 48.466, which we of course need to change to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So number 4, DMS, and we get 48 degrees and 28 minutes. So we have found A. A is equal to 48 degrees and 28 minutes. Now, of course, as I've mentioned before, you just need great calculator skills. 48 degrees, 28 minutes. And of course, to find big C, all we have to do is subtract 38 and 48 degrees, 28 minutes from 180 degrees to find that our final answer is 93 degrees and 32 minutes. Go back to geometry, and you should remember that the biggest side is always opposite of the biggest angle. Smallest side is opposite of the smallest angle. That's how you can double check to see if, you're at least accurate. So number 2 is an example just for you. All the sides are given because sides are really easy to find with the calculator. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to try working with your calculator and setting it up, and then of course pushing all the correct buttons to see if you can handle one of these on your own. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and go give it a try. Remember, we know that we're given little a is 25. We know that little b is 11, and we know that little c is 24. You pick an angle you want to find first, then you pick another angle you want to find second, and then all you need to do is use your calculator to find everything, subtract those two angles from 180, and you'll have your third, and we're good to go. So press pause, give it a shot, and click play when you're ready to see what you did. Okay, so as mentioned before, I kind of like working alphabetically, so I'm going to find angle A first. I'm just going to show you the setup. So we should have 25 squared is equal to 11 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 11 times 24 cosine of big A. So in my calculator, I would type in everything that I need, and I should have 25 squared minus 11 squared minus 24 squared. That's a shortcut, what I would like to show you. So 25 squared minus 11 squared minus 24 squared. And you'll see that I am at negative 72. Then, algebraically, I would be dividing both sides by this. So I can just press divided by, and in parentheses type a negative 2 times 11 times 24, and that would give me this crazy decimal, which is equal to the cosine of A. So then I would press second cosine of the previous answer, and I would get 82 degrees and some change. So if I were to press second angle number 4, I would end up with 82 degrees and 10 minutes once I round. So we have 82 degrees and 10 minutes. Now, I just wanted to show you how you can use your calculator to pretty much do everything. But of course, you have to show your setup. And then, of course, you would do the exact same thing for B. And C, you would just have to subtract A and B from 180. So for angle B, if you would have set it up correctly and used your calculator correctly, you should have 25 degrees and 51 minutes. And then once you subtract both of those from 180, angle C should be 71 degrees and 59 minutes. Okay, and then just do a little check. Biggest angle is opposite of the biggest side. Smallest angle is opposite of the smallest side. So we are good to go. All right, so I just wanted to see if you got yours correct. And that's the law of cosines for you. So this is Longo, and I'm out. See you, bye.